impromptu. All of my lives are impromptu. You should know that by now. I don't plan anything these days. I just go with the flow, the energy flow. And what I'm finding at the moment has been quite interesting because, for better or for worse, I'm on a group of early stage YouTubers that talk about the issues that they have to face. And a very good subject came up on that group about how do you deal with the haters. There's plenty of haters. So firstly, let's reframe it. Firstly, I invite all haters on. Bring it on. It's what I say. Bring it on. There's a lot of people out there, especially with the stuff that I do, that think I'm a lunatic. So rather than fight it, I just embrace the energy of what people put out there, which is why I came up with today's thumbnail. But dealing with the haters, let's talk about this, because for anyone that's worried about getting their message out there, about doing something a little bit out there, doing something a bit different, putting their message to it, starting something from scratch, or just getting going in the first place, it is a rite of passage to get haters on your thread, because if you are talking about stuff that everyone agrees with and likes, then you're being too vague and you're not really putting yourself out there. You haven't really hit any sort of YouTube significance until you've had a few hater comments, and that is part of the game. And I was speaking to one of the haters. It was actually brilliant, a guy called Ty, that took all of the comments that had been fired at him, and he did all of these. He does these little musical videos, and he took all of the hater talk and he turned it into a song. I just thought it was brilliant. And the general theme of of what was discussed on this group is that the haters actually help you with the algorithm, so you should be thanking them. And not only that, there's only one thing worse than not getting haters on your thread, or people that don't get it, or people that will call you names or do whatever. And that's having no one, being so insignificant and nobody bothers to troll you. That is the worst. That is actually worse than being trolled. And that was really where the discussion came out. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So I've sort of covered the message. I've sort of covered the message that I wanted to cover in under 3 minutes. So the rest is just pure go with the flow, because that's really the message that I wanted to get out there. That especially if you're doing things like energy work, if you're doing stuff for empaths, if you're getting your message out there, if you're doing stuff that a lot of people don't get, especially your family. In fact, it's quite likely if you're highly sensitive to energy or empathic, a lot of your family won't understand what you're doing. So I've got Cryptic on today. Well, hi to you. Thanks for being the first one to comment on my thread, and for the love hearts. That is very kind of you, my Jedi friend. Great to have you on this thread. So I was just riffing. Hello. Well, hello to you, my Jedi friend, and thank you. Thank you for stepping up and being the first one on. And for everyone else on the thread, these are very interactive. I tend to start them up. I don't plan them. I have conversations throughout my day, and when a topic is hot, I just go with it. I think, right, well, that has to be relevant to other people, so let's just talk about it. I've got Planet C64 on, one of my Jedi friends, saying hi. Well, welcome to the stream, Planet C64. Thank you for joining in. You and Cryptic for getting in there early. I'm loving your style. So I'll just summarize for those that have just come on the theme of the thread. And if you're new to this, you'll know that you won't know. What you won't know is this thread could go anywhere. It could go anywhere, because I've sort of covered what the topic was. And if you're on here watching me because I said the lunatics live, then fair play to you. It shows me you've got a sense or spirit of adventure, and I like that. Cryptic, you sound very nice. Well, thank you, Cryptic. That's very kind of you to say so. Thank you, my Jedi friend. It's always good to know. Get validating comments and nice things that are being said, because what we say is, and just to give you a bit of background, Cryptic, I talk about stuff that most of the world don't understand or doesn't get, and I've been doing that for decades. So I was a nurse once upon a time in the last millennium, coming on to this one, And I trained in energy medicine. And at the time in 2003, when I first trained in it, I come in and I was telling everyone about this incredible system. And they all thought I was out there. They thought I was way woo-woo. I got all of these comments, all of these doubters, all of this doubt, all these people not getting. And these were my friends. They didn't even know what I was talking about. And what happened is at a certain point, I thought, actually, my friends aren't ready for this. The world isn't ready for it. And I stopped talking about it. And I went into hiding for several years and I did other things in my life. And now, at this stage in life, I have a different skill set, which involves building a resilience and actually embracing the people that don't get it. So this is really what my message is to everyone else. If you are that black sheep, if you're the person that does things like energy work, if you've got a message to get out there and you're worried that people don't get it or that they might not understand it or you might get trolled, then I'm here to tell you that that is part of the journey, my Jedi friends. You have to attract a few trolls on your thread because it shows you that you're getting your message out there to a wide enough audience. So that was really it. I could almost sort of drop the mic now and say thanks very much. That's really what I wanted to say. And you'll know, for people that are regular, like Planet C64 is definitely one of my regulars. She will know that I could go anywhere, and we like riffing. We like keeping the energy light. So my channel actually addresses some really serious issues. I like to think that we do it with a healthy sort of dose of fun and humor where it is applicable or right. And we've got Slorksky FN. Hi, remember me? I certainly do with that name, my Jedi friend. I remember struggling saying it the last time as well, but welcome back. Thank you for joining in the thread. Cryptic's back. What's your average people that watch you? Well, here's the truth, Cryptic. No average people watch me. This is an above average channel that attracts above average people. Average does not exist in our world. We do not. We are a raised frequency. So let me interpret that word. Who is drawn to me? People that are sensitive to energy, people that are empathic, people that have spent probably a lifetime of fitting in and trying to please everyone and doing good things for everyone else and are realizing that that didn't work for them. So I help people to take back their energy and control of their life by using energy methods. People that feel drained when they go out, I show them how not to be drained when they go out, how to set their energy so that they don't feel any of those effects. And I help people to understand what energy actually is, to de-woo-woo it, as some of my friends would say. I take the complicated world of energy and show you that it's not that complicated at all. Give you practical ways to use it to your advantage to feel better, so that you can feel better and you can deal with life a lot easier. And you can ignore the haters and the voices of dissent and the people that don't get you and deal with things like narcissism. So anyone that's been in a narcissistic relationship, they usually attracted to me because I show them how to deal with that kind of stuff. So that would be a sort of rough overview. So hopefully that answers your question. There is a few other things that maybe people will add to it, but we will find out as we go along. I've got a thumbs up from Planet C64. Well, thank you, my Jedi friend. And Cryptic says, like how many? How many people? Well, on the channel, I've got about 2,500 people are signed up, but the YouTube algorithm doesn't like me because I went down a route where I was using too many naughty words that they didn't like. So I've noticed that the algorithm has not been very favorable to me lately. So I'm doing my best to rein myself in to get back into YouTube's good books at the moment. So I've had to acknowledge the restrictions within the platform that I'm operating on. So I promise YouTube, I'll do my best to be good today. I will be good. I will do my best not to swear. Curb your language, Adam. I've got Jetstream Jack in. Can you harness energy to use against someone? Well, Jetstream Jack, yes is the answer, but I'm not going to teach you that because that is not what I'm about. So The way that I will teach you to use energy is how to help yourself and to raise the vibration of you and the planet and people around you. Let's have a look. Jetstream Jack says, like, say my sister keeps coming into my room uninvited. Can I use crystals to give her scabies or something? Fair play to you, Jetstream Jack. I know exactly what you're going through because I used to have the same thing growing up with my sister. She would not leave me alone. Used to keep coming in the room. And back in the day, I'd say, get out of the room. And she'd go down and tell my mum, and she'd come up and insist and offer some incentivization for me not to lock her out again. And I used to hate it. So I feel your pain there, my Jedi friend. But I would say that if you are thinking of, if you did have the power to do that, you probably wouldn't want to do it to your sister. You probably don't feel that way at the moment. Probably don't feel that way at the moment, but yeah. So here's a universal law, just to answer that question. So it is possible to hand out some sort of karmic slap to people energetically. That is possible. But, and here's the thing that you absolutely need to know, it always comes back at you. It's a bit like buying poison for someone and taking it yourself. So yeah, you can give out a karmic slap, and I've given accidentally before when I was really angry, given out a karmic slap, but it's always come back to bite me. So I don't recommend it for the simple reason that yes, you can actually hurt people energetically, but it will always come back and hurt you at least as much. So there you go. There's the karmic law of working with energy, which is why it's much better to ignore the haters and put out good things, because then you'll attract that back, my Jedi friends. That's what the universal laws of energy will do for you. You get more of what you put out there. Now, some of you will say, but I've always been good all my life. I put out good vibes. Now, there's caveats with this as well. And this is this is finding the balance. Finding the balance, because if you're too good and you drop everything to do everything for everyone else, there'll always be a point, if you don't have boundaries, that it comes back to bite you. It will come back to bite you on the bottom, my Jedi friends. It will come to bite you. So a lesson that most people are sensitive to energy, that are drawn to the world of energy, that work with energy. And we use different words. I call them empaths. Some people call starseeds, light workers. There's all sorts of things or titles to the type of people that are drawn to the content that I do. But it's just generally people who want to do good in the world. That's effectively it. But are realizing that the world is not necessarily a good place. They're dealing with things like narcissism. They're dealing with things like difficult situations. Quite often at the moment, their world starts falling apart. And that's where I work with people one-on-one and in groups at the moment, when your reality falls down. And what does that look like? Well, it could be the sudden end of your job. It could be the breakdown of a family relationship. It could be the habit, I've had enough now. It's when people are, usually anger rises. When we don't have boundaries, anger rises, and we attract boss level, rein yourself in, Adam, use a more appropriate word that YouTube will like, nasty people, boss level nasty people into our life, until we set really clear boundaries. And that is the game. That's what I teach. I teach that nothing happens by accident, that every challenge that happens in your life is happening for a reason. And that if you think you've been a good person all your life and you're getting really tough stuff happening to you at the moment, it's probably a boundary issue and an awakening issue. Because waking up is really tough. It can be really tough to have an awakening experience, and usually and quite often, if you haven't got the message, your world will have to collapse. And that's usually relationship breakdowns with your friends, your family, especially at work, that can happen. So it's quite frequent that people I work with have just had thing after increasing. It's like a game where you deal with one pile of rubbish, shall we call it, and then another one even bigger appears. So these can be symptoms of the awakening process and stuff that I help people through. So that was a long explanation of what it is that I help people with. But I mean, these are some of the symptoms. And not only that, but as these symptoms escalate, you'll feel increasing levels of feeling down. And that can start with withdrawal. It can go to anxiety. It can then move to depression. It can even go down. The lower rung of this would be suicidal thoughts. If you don't deal with the situations that life gives you and draw boundaries as a highly sensitive person, then it will quite often drag you to the point where you start questioning, what am I even doing here? What am I even doing here? And that's why I have this channel, because I understand that this is happening a lot to a lot of people at the moment. And I'm here to remind you that this is completely normal with the state of affairs that we're in at the moment. Wow, I've gone off onto one now, haven't I? This has gone more into the lunatic zone than I anticipated. So, well, let's say it full on then. So, what's the energy of my channel? I realize that as somebody that has been awakening on this journey and going through my own set of unique challenges at the moment, that there's been a vibrational shift on the planet. And certain people that were here for a greater purpose, if you haven't woken up to that yet, then what will happen is your world will start collapsing around you until you do wake up. So it's very frequent for people that are on that awakening cusp to have a total breakdown in your whole life and energy and stuff collapse around you. So I've got Char Dem says hi. Well, thank you for joining me. And Grimsome has joined. So inspiring. Well, thank you, my Jedi friend. I'm glad that you like it. I've got Bly Cortez Chaplin. Do you like cheese? Yes, I do, Bly Cortez. There you go. I do like cheese. That's a bit of a left field question, but I'll take on all comers at the moment. It's all good, friendly fun. It has to be done. Yes, I am a cheese fan. I'm a cheese man and a cheese fan. It has to be done. So yes, I will take it on board. And Grimsome says, cheese. See, these streams can rapidly go down. They can segue down a different route. And that's what I love about them. Absolutely love about them. So I never know where they're going to go. But the point being, to just revert back, is that if you're going through really, 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 really tough times at the moment, the odds are you're here for a bigger purpose and you haven't yet discovered it. And if you haven't yet discovered it, then definitely subscribe to this channel, because it's here to help you to find that. That's what I do. I facilitate awakening. What does that mean? Oh, it sounds a little bit out there, Adam. Sounds a little bit out there. That's why the lunatic thing was a thing, because a lot of people don't get it. At least 99% of the planet are not ready to wake up, and they will not get what I do. And I've awakened to that. So I'm used to being called a lunatic for the stuff that I talk about. And that is the game, my Jedi friends. When you speak your truth to people, there's going to be plenty of people that are like, oh, where did they find him? Where do they find this lunatic? Where does he get this stuff from? He's going off on one of his woo-woo rants here. I don't know what he's talking about. I think he's lost the plot. Maybe he's had the wrong mushrooms in his omelette this morning. I get that a lot, my Jedi friends. There's a lot of people that just never get what I do. They really don't. And here's a litmus test for you, just to bring this to life. Not one person in my whole family have got any idea what I do. Not a clue. Not a Scooby-Doo. You ask anyone in my family, what does Adam do? And you'll get different answers from everybody. So I've got Evie, and Evie has put in the comments, Baldy. Well done, Evie. You're very observant. Very observant there, Evie. Well done. Grimsome. Oh my. Evie is back. Lil Egg. Well, thank you, Evie. Have a cracking time with my little egg. Grimsome, good observation. Well, Evie, aren't you just the life and soul of the party? I bet you are the conversational genius that keeps everybody hanging on your every word with your acute observational skills. Well done, Evie. And Evie's put funny man. And Cryptic's put hello again. Hello again, Cryptic. I'm glad that you've stayed so long on the thread. Kudos to you, my Jedi friend. You have lasted the the test of time. Evie saying, stop being mean to me. Well, Evie, you started it, in fairness. Evie, I'm going to tell my mum. Go tell her, Evie. Go tell her. Go. Cryptic says, lol. Grimsome, what a shame. Well, do you know, I did talk about it. Evie, firstly, I want to thank you because earlier on this thread, probably before you got on, I talked about the benefit of having people that come on and troll you. And Evie's saying, not funny now. It's funny when I was the baldy and an egghead, but it's not funny when we turn it round on the other side. So, Evie, I have a golden rule. If you're going to give it, you have to learn to take it. You have to learn to take it if you're going to give it out. Because I'm very happy to take any troll comments on this thing, but if you're sensitive, I suggest that you hold back on that front, my friends. And Cryptic says, very funny. Grimsome says, don't be sensitive. Evie, yes, you are bald and am egg. I am egg. Well, thank you, Evie. Thank you. Go and tell your mum you found the Eggman. Cryptic, no, he not. Thank you, Cryptic. It's all right. Let Evie go. Let Evie go. So Evie says, you're welcome, Baldy. Well, thank you, Evie. And Mike, slut Evie. Well, that's certainly below the You're getting it now, Evie. You've upset the people that were listening in, and they are absolutely coming in with the comments. Sonny Jim, you're Cryptic. He's not bald. I sort of am, Cryptic. Grimsome, watch your tongue. I've got Zinthi Blue Duck is in. Hello, well, welcome back, Zinthi Blue Duck. And Cryptic, I will make you famous. Fix that attitude, you silent patient. See, it didn't take long, did it? And Evie says, oh, what Grimsome. Cryptic, I'll try make you famous. I've got Linzarella in the house. Hi, Adam. Come to spread some love against the trolling madness. Hope you're good. And Shah, is that Shah BB? He is my king. Cryptic, stop hating. Sonny Jim is in. I can't even keep up with the comments. This is great. Sonny Jim, NG. I think Evie is just a rage baiting. Evie, no. Mike says, put Evie in prison. Grimsome. Evie, I won't do anything to you or you might cry. Cryptic, he will become big YouTuber. Thank you, Cryptic. Evie, off. Zinthi Blue Duck, what's happening? I wish I could tell you, Zinthi. I'm not quite sure. Mike, Evie, success PP, sucks PP, choose. Cryptic, everyone subscribe to him. Wonderful idea, says Grimsome. Evie, is this live? Sonny Jim, what's going on? Cryptic, yes, subscribe. Fair play to you, Cryptic. You stay on. You stay on, my Jedi friend. Grimsome, poor Evie. Linzarella, the world's mad enough without people turning on each other. Leave the baldies alone. Zinthi Blue Duck, what have I joined? Help. Well, I just want to say, before I read out any more, that Well, see what Evie's done there with a couple of troll comments is got you all interacting on the thread. So kudos to you, Evie. You absolutely started, and YouTube loves that. What YouTube, it doesn't care whether you're saying good or bad things to me. All it is monitoring is whether people are interacting with the live. And isn't it interesting that more people interact with the live when there's a few troll comments on there than not? So Evie, you've really helped me to prove a point that I was coming up with. I can't even keep up. I can't even keep up with the comments anymore. So Evie, guys, I'm sorry. I was trolling my bad baldy. Grimsome, God has lost faith in you, Evie. Sunny Jim, W Evie. Cryptic, you will be big YouTuber. Evie, I don't believe in God. Grimsome, me neither. Well, on that note, neither do I, folks. I believe in universal life force energy that runs through all of us. And on that basis, there is no supreme being beyond us. And let's face it, the argue about which God, I just can't be asked with that. Is there, which God is the best, which one is real, which one's going to send us here, what are they going to do? The idea that there is a supreme force that is outside us is difficult for me to get my head around, quite honestly. Because let's face it, you can decide whether you're going to act, how you're going to act without the judgment of a supreme being outside. Either do good stuff or don't, and let that be your judge. But anyway, that's a rabbit hole, isn't it? I can't keep up with all these comments. Let me have to scroll down. So let's see. Evie says, nice one. Zinthi Blue Duck, I've got a sheep bone in my bedroom, and so I stay for trust. Cryptic question mark. Evie, bye. I'm going now. Egg. Well, bye, Evie. Thanks for stimulating the chat here. I appreciate it. Cryptic sheep bone. Zinthi Blue Duck. Yeg yay sheep bone. It's a spine bone. Farewell, Evie, says Grimson. Cryptic. Oh, Zinthi Blue Duck. From the sheep's spine, cryptic, decades. Well, I can't keep up with this. It's gone lunatic. Well, I'm glad to see you all interacting on the live. That is what it's all about, my Jedi friends. Come and meet new people. By all means, jump on the thread. Get to know each other. You know how it goes. Anything could happen on these threads. So there you go. So Zinthi Blue Duck, I got it yesterday up a mountain. So, well, fair play to you. You go around collecting bones. Well, whatever you're into. And they've got some fancy rocks and bones. Well, it's amazing what a trip up the mountain will do for you in this day and age. So it's good to see you all interacting. I mean, this is great for the algorithm. YouTube loves it. So see what Evie did. And this is the beauty of this, that it's been chosen. There's a thing called, this is another thing that I talk about sometimes on the channel, but this is really interesting. So there's a thing called the negativity bias. And what that tells you is that people respond with 3 times more energy to something negative than something positive, which would explain why some people are so bad at taking compliments, but you call them anything, you say anything bad about them, they'll absolutely flare up. And you know it. People could say loads of good things about you and one bad thing, and you know what you're going to be focused on, aren't you? So let me scroll down. There's loads of comments coming in. It's really got lively on here. Let's have a look. I subscribed, said Cryptic. Good luck with your career. Well, thank you, Cryptic. Thank you for subscribing. Absolutely. Grimsome, I had a collection of bird skulls. Fair play. So let's have a look. Zinthi Blue Duck. Yeah, I got 4 of my baby tooth. Lol. Grimson, I have all my baby teeth in a box. Damn cool, says Zinthi Blue Duck. Sonny Jim, that's pretty smart. If you're able to not care what the haters say when you might as well use them for views. Well, that is it, Sonny Jim. And this was actually part of the message. And what we discussed, I don't know if you were hearing to listen to the reason that I did this thread today, because I was on a group yesterday with a bunch of small YouTubers talking about their experience of being on YouTube. And the topic of dealing with haters came up. And the general overview was that haters are great for the channel because the YouTube algorithm doesn't distinguish between whether it's a good comment or a bad. And hate comments generally get everybody else to pile in. And today has just absolutely proved that. Evie's been the biggest gift that has come to this stream because the comments, I've never been on a live stream where I've not been able to keep up with the comments like happened today. So that is the gift that keeps giving. It's almost like she was a plant. So yeah, that absolutely, it was absolute win as far as I'm concerned. Grimson, such a nice positive vibe here. Absolutely. Thanks, Grimson. Cynthia Blue Duck. I walked like 4 miles yesterday up the mountain with my family. Fair play. Linzarella, I always wanted to be an archaeologist. I'm a real nerd for digs, but it's a hobby for the educated and richer. Oh, look, Evie, I'm back. I knew you couldn't stay away, Evie. We were just talking about the gift that you gave by your comments, getting everybody involved in the stream. So, Sonny Jim says, wasn't like you ever left, Evie. Thanks, said Evie. I know, I'm just great. Linzarella, I don't think my comments are in sync here. Lol, I'm on my own bubble over here. Grimson, yippee! Zinthi Blue Duck, my arms hurt. And then a love heart. Evie, you're welcome. And Grimson says, welcome back, Evie. You were greatly missed. And Evie says, thanks, guys. Well, Evie, you've actually proved a brilliant point today. Because firstly, I'm thick enough skinned that I've heard enough comments in my life that there's nothing really. I don't really see troll comments anymore. I just see the algorithm working in my favor. And you, my Jedi friend, have helped the algorithm work in my favor right now with the deluge of comments that came in. And I'm looking at the viewer stats. There's more viewer stats than I've had. There's more people watching now than there is simultaneously on any of my previous streams for longer. And isn't it interesting? It wasn't me saying anything inspirational at all. It was me dealing with troll comments. And the deluge of follow-up. So it just goes to show you don't know what the magic formula for a YouTube live is. But we may have found it today, Evie, my Jedi friend. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. Like, I'm just going down, reading them. So Evie, that's you're welcome. Friendly grammatical correction. So Planet C64 is helping. Well, if I'm going down the grammatical correction, Planet C64, you'll probably notice that there's a few contenders on this thread. I'm sometimes having to check my eyes and say, actually, is that the way that it is? So Grimson, you didn't need to ask. Okay. Zinthi Blue Duck, I got to put my sheep vertebrae in some boiling water soon to clean it. Well, fair play, Zinthi Blue Duck, whatever you are into, my Jedi friend. So, and Grimson says, you say that so casually. Zinthi Blue Duck is, I know. I'm used to stuff like that. Well, there you go. We attract all sorts of interesting people on this thread. And Evie says, are you a farmer or something? I'm not sure if you're asking me, Evie, or Zinthi Blue Duck. Yeah, well, Zinthi Blue Duck has answered anyway. And she says, no, not a farmer. So there you have it. We're getting all sorts of interesting characters show up. Isn't it interesting? I put lunatic on this and like people are coming out of the woodwork. I do all my serious, well, there's nothing really truly serious on my live streams. People will know that. They're never completely serious. Sometimes there's like serious topics, but they're never completely serious. But there's interesting, the moment that I go down the lunatic route, everyone's coming out the woodwork. So what an interesting observation that was. An interesting observation. We've gone down a right rabbit hole today, haven't we? We've gone from dealing with trolls to sheep bones, boiling them in water. Well, I hope there's no bunnies being boiled here, because that would be a little bit tragic, wouldn't it? I don't know where I pulled that one from. But anyway, my friends, what this has demonstrated beautifully is that there are no such thing as bad things that can happen in the comments on a YouTube live, as long as you go in with the right mindset. And the right mindset is, especially with the stuff that I do, is realizing that there's so many people that will just never get the stuff that I do. They just won't, just never going to get it. They will never get it, my Jedi friends. So you can't blame people for not being ready for a message. You just need to keep putting it out there so that those that are ready to hear it, they get to hear it. And ignore the people that don't. And forgive them for not knowing or not understanding, because that is just the way that the world rocks. We are all here for a different purpose, my Jedi friends. Whether it's to meet fellow lunatics or just listen to some random lunatic on a YouTube live here. Me riffing with the crew. Let's see. So let's look back into the comments. So Zinthi Blue Duck. Yes, I also play piano. Evie says, nice, I play football and cricket. Zinthi Blue Duck, cool. Evie, yay. Zinthi Blue Duck, it's £20 per lesson for me to play piano. I go every Monday. And Grimsom says, love lunatics. You've got to love lunatics, because we're all sort of lunatic. So here's another thing that you may not know. I've written a book called The Lunatic Gene. And I grew up in a bona fide lunatic asylum. My parents were both psychiatric nurses, so I'm very well qualified to talk about lunacy. In fact, I do a bit of public speaking, and sometimes I start my talk by saying, look, I've got a confession. I've got a confession before I continue this talk, is that I spent 17 years of my life in a psychiatric hospital or a lunatic asylum. I have to work out which crowd I've got as to which one of those two feels like the right fit. But I get people in the crowd. I always know by the reaction where I need to take my conversation or my talk, by the reaction I get when I tell them I've spent 17 years in a lunatic asylum. Some people say, yeah, I know what you mean. And I'll be like, no, I don't think you do. So there you have it, my Jedi friends. Lunacy has been in my family for as long as I can remember. Growing up in a psychiatric hospital. In fact, I used to hang out with psychiatric patients. There you go. That was my upbringing. That's what I did as a kid. Before they had mobile phones, we used to go into the hospital and explore and study lunacy in every single form. There we go. Well, I'm glad to see you kicking off with the chat. In the chat, just for anyone who are catching up on this, the Jedis have all come out, and it's a free flow there. They're all getting to know each other. Now that's what it's about. You know, you can meet new people on YouTube. You never know who you're going to run into, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it? You just never know who you're going to go and run into when you tune in to definitely something that's got lunatic on it. It attracts a certain brand of character, my Jedi friend. When I put the word lunatic on a live stream, I know that I'm going to get everyone that's a little bit out there. A little bit out there, that is what it's all about. So there you go. Now, Evie's just put a comment saying she's going to go again. Going to go again. And Evie is subbed, by the way, Egg. Well, thank you, Evie. You're welcome back. Thank you for the injection of comments that you have managed to manifest for me today. I couldn't have done a better job myself. Great job on that front. Linzarella, I think that would be awesome, Adam. You're safe with the lunatics. It's the ones outside that are mad. Ha ha ha. Well, that's what I used to say, Linzarella. I used to go to school because obviously growing up in that environment, when we went to school, all the kids used to say, oh, here's the lunatics on day release. They released them day release to get to school. But it served me really well because we had bona fide lunatics in our school, some which are doing time and for some quite sinister stuff as well. And the real lunatics in the school, I would say that, wouldn't I? They'll say that I was the real lunatic. I would say the ones who are actually doing time for some nasty, malevolent stuff used to give me a wide berth because they weren't sure about me, because I came from the real lunatic asylum. So there you have it. Let's have a look. I'm Cynthia Blue Duck. It's my birthday on Sunday. Yippee. I've got Hydra in the house. Are you a Star Wars fan? Of course I am, Hydra. Grew up with Star Wars. So one of my earliest memories when I was 5, my dad took me to the cinema to watch the very first Star Wars when it first came out. And it was genius. Back in the day, back in the cinema, show my age now. This is one of those showing your age moments. So in cinemas, halfway through the film, they used to stop the film and then they used to bring out and sell you all this sugary stuff like ice creams, chocolate, cakes. And of course, then they would start the film and usually all the kids were sugar rushed up and you couldn't get a word in, like you couldn't hear the rest of the film. She's just given loads of kids, loads of sugar. Great idea in a cinema. That's probably why they stopped doing it. It's great for them because they increased their sales. It was called the snack attack. Halfway through the film, you'd have a snack attack. And yeah, they stopped it halfway through. They just stopped it. And then they came out and sold loads of ice cream and chocolate and stuff. So he'd sell that. People get sugar rushed up. So it was a nightmare, usually starting the film. And they just given loads of kids loads of sugar. And my dad said it was like a scene from Gremlins in the cinema, just as they opened the curtains. But the very first thing that happened when they opened the curtains, it was a scene with Darth Vader breathing. And he said he's never seen a bunch of sugar-addled kids go quiet so quickly as watching Darth Vader. And my dad said that was the moment I knew that this film was going to make a lot of money. Just imagine being able to absolutely stop in their tracks a load of kids that were hanging off the rooftops virtually, full of sugar. So yes, there you go. That was one of my early experiences, and how Darth Vader managed to silence a room full of sugar-addled kids instantly. So there you go. Oh, Evie's back. Look at that. Evie is back already. Fair play to you, Evie. Hydra. Is that a UK thing? I'm from Canada and they never did it. Well, I'm in my 50s, Hydra, so they haven't done it here for a long time, and most people in the UK wouldn't even know that they've done it. But back in the 70s and I think in the early 80s as well, they used to, yeah, definitely the early 80s, probably up until the early 90s, they used to have a snack attack. It was just a cynical way for cinemas to earn more money. They could sell more sweets and stuff. And I remember they used to have little boxes and they used to stand in the front of the cinema and people used to queue up and get them. So there you go. That's the thing. So let's see. Evie says, the chat seems dead without me, so I'm going to stay this time. Well done, Evie. And Hydra says, your dad was right. He absolutely was. And Hydra says, I would have guessed you were like 40. Well, thank you, Hydra. That's very kind of you to say. So that is very nice. The stream has done me a solid on this particular front. But yes, I am in my 50s now. So old enough now not to care about what other people think about me. Long enough in the tooth to have heard it all is where I'm at in life. So that's why I'm able to do live streams like this, to really encourage people just to find their voice and just to do it, just to go live, just to do it, find their vibe, find their tribe. Find your vibe and find your tribe. That's what it's all about. So one of the things that I talk about quite a lot, so that you know, is that there's an awakening process. So you're born with two families. One is the family that you're born into, and they're the ones that have to challenge you to get you to the right point. And then you've got your spiritual family or your vibe tribe, and you find them on your awakening path. So I found a lot of my vibe tribe when I did a lot of my training in energy work and stuff like that. So people that I met when I started this training course like 23 years ago, people when I did my very first Reiki course, two of them are my very closest friends now, like my brother and sister, the two of them. And we stayed in touch ever since. They're my soul family. And we met at the course doing stuff that ultimately led us to where we are now. And now here I am 23 years later teaching all of this stuff, but doing it slightly differently. So you find your vibe tribe. Other people I found at personal development courses. I did a lot of courses because I was interested in public speaking. I met some of my vibe tribe there. Um, and great fun people I call my brothers and sisters now. And I'm actually as close to them, or probably closer than my family, my vibe tribe. So you do find your soul family along the way. And you usually do it by getting involved in things that are interested to you. So there you have it. And Hydra says, I need a vibe tribe myself, it seems. Well, a lot of people are waking up to that, Hydra, and that's part of the reason I run this channel and part of the reason I do these live streams. A lot of people are waking up to that now. They're realizing they're feeling lost, they're feeling lonely, they're feeling isolated. And part of that comes with the awakening process of just waking up. And what does that mean? That's when your world starts falling apart. It's when you start seeing the world differently. A lot of people realized that they were on a very different journey during COVID, for example. So, you know, a lot of people, that was a very polarizing event for a lot of people, especially with things like the vaccinations. That put a lot of families against each other, and that really sort of separated the two sort of factions of people, the ones that were having none of it and the ones that decided to fit in. So yeah, there's a lot of factors that have led towards this this awakening process that we're all in at the moment. And Grimson says, I have returned. Well, welcome back, my Jedi friend. Welcome back. Thank you for rejoining the thread. So yes, it has been, what an interesting thread. I couldn't have seen this coming. I thought I was just going to be on for a few minutes. It's turned out to be, according to my statistics, the most engaged live that I've had so far. So to everybody even listening into this, kudos to you. Thank you for showing up to this one. So do you have a favorite Jedi? Well, it's very difficult to look beyond Yoda, isn't it? Or possibly with the Mandalorian, Grogu, the baby Yoda. People calling him baby Yoda, but it's Grogu. Oh, the little baby Yoda. Reminds me of my little cat with the eyes, you know. I've got a little baby Yoda. There's a little cat. But yeah, that was my favorite Jedi, Baby Yoda, or Grogu, I think the actual name of it was in the Mandalorian. Tiny little baby Yoda. Oh, I can't remember. It's cuter than that. That's still able to hold up like big beasts. That's super cool, isn't it? Even as a kid. So yeah, I don't think it gets much cooler than that. But you've got to love also. I mean, the part of me now, the awakening side, loves the character of Darth Vader. The dark and the light, the different parts of the Force. I think that character is the most complex, the most interesting, because ultimately started really good, then went really bad, and finished on a good note. So it's interesting, isn't it? And I think that one really tunes into the path that we all actually walk on. And part of the personal development process, one of the big lessons that I've had to learn in life is it doesn't matter if you think you're a light worker or a good person. If you don't acknowledge your dark side, the odds are you are going to be, at best, delusional on the journey, because we all have a dark side as well. So you have to get in touch with that as part of the personal development process. So let's have a look. Linzarella, I think you're giving space for the trolls to breathe and enjoy themselves, Adam, which in itself is awesome. All are welcome here. I'm still in anger energy and get triggered. And Hydra says, this guy has trolls. Well, occasionally we get a few trolls in, Hydra, and that's part of the journey. I mean, let's face it, it's quite provocative of me to put lunatics on the thumbnail of this. And I do that deliberately. I test different energies and different things when I go on there. Like, I mean, one of them, I got this meme of all aliens having a party with a spaceship, you know. I never know who's going to turn up, but I tend to go quite left field and be a little bit provocative with the titles and the stuff that I put out there, because I do know that I know the world of lunacy pretty well because I've grown up with it. So I do invite, I sort of encourage people to come out and troll and get involved, because part of me knows from the YouTube algorithm's point of view, all YouTube is really measuring is the metrics, how many comments, how many people stayed on, how many were listening. It doesn't really care whether I'm inspiring you or not. It's only measuring how long did you stay on to the stream and how many comments or engagements were there with it. So it's only looking, it's all an algorithm. YouTube is a machine. It just sees it through commercial lens. Are people watching it? How long are they watching it for? And depending on how long you watch it for, that's how much relevance YouTube then gives me. So if I'm talking about really inspirational things, but it isn't, people aren't engaging with it, then YouTube won't appreciate it. But if people come on and start trolling me, and then everybody starts getting involved in the comments, then YouTube loves that. They absolutely love it. So on that basis, there's no, then I do invite the trolls. I absolutely do invite them in, because as Evie has wonderfully proved on this thread, you know, if you get somebody throwing in a couple of less than positive comments or a bit controversial, then people will just start engaging with the post. So Evie's done me an incredible service today, possibly without even realizing she was doing it. So there you have it. There's win-win all the way through, as far as I'm concerned. And when I started this stream, I certainly didn't think I'd still be doing it after 50 minutes. So, but it tells me at the top that there's still 15 people are still watching. Now, usually when I do these, you know, I might get 15 for a little bit, but then they all fall off. But there's been more engagement on this particular stream than any of the others. And I've had 9 likes. 9 of your 15 have liked it. So again, that tells me that I must be hitting some sort of metric that is doing all right. So, and there you have it, my Jedi friends. And somebody else has just added to the likes. So to that legend, thank you. Thank you, my Jedi friends, for adding to my likes. YouTube likes that. It likes that. Did you get a like? Did people like you? And another thing, and that's another thing with it as well. I mean, if you're sensitive to energy and you're doing it for validation and you have to have likes, you know, losing the need to have that is part of the journey as well. So it's lovely that you're all liking it. But part of doing this stuff is not to have any attachment to whether people like it or not, because the right people will tune in at the right time for the right reason. And realizing that the stuff that I do is very, very narrow niche. And as I said at the beginning of this stream, maybe 1% of the population would even entertain a conversation with the sort of stuff I talk about. So finding my niche and finding the people that are right for my message means at least 99 people out of 100 haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, or just think I'm out there or a lunatic, which is why I put the lunatic thing up. It's happened to me most of my life. People just don't get it. They just don't get it, my Jedi friends. And so that is what we're dealing with today. So I see that we are sort of coming up to the hour mark now, and I don't generally like to go on for over an hour, because people tend not to watch the replays if it goes on too long. So unless anyone's got any questions or any comments or any things they want to add to this thread in the next couple of minutes, I'll probably call it a day. And if you are subscribed, make sure that you get the bell notification, because I do these lives. They're fairly impromptu. I don't plan them. I don't warn people that I'm going to do them. I just do them, because that's the way I roll, my Jedi friends. I'm very impromptu, very impromptu. So let's have a look. Hydra says, we're going to get the clankers at YouTube to see if we like you. I'm one of the ones who don't understand the energy, but I'm curious. And I've got Paul Brady saying, are you gay? Are you offering, Paul? Is that are you coming on to me? Are you gay, my Jedi friend? And ask the real question here. Is that an offer? Is it an offer? well, interesting. And that is a thing. You never know who you're going to get on or what they're going to ask. But we've got Paul, who is certainly curious as to whether I'm gay or not. So, Paul, tell me the real question: is it an offer? Well, and I will say one thing. I worked as a nurse for 13 years, and I had all sorts of people asking me exactly the same question. And that was the reply I used to give them. I used to actually, if they did it to my face, I used to put my hand on theirs and wink at them and say, "Are you making an offer at me?" And it's incredible how many people felt very uncomfortable when I used to turn it round on them like that. Give them a cheeky wink, touch their hand. Are you offering? I did it once in America. I almost got myself shot. Not such a good idea to do it over there, my Jedi friends, especially in the middle of nowhere, in the sticks in Montana. I don't recommend it. Are you calling me gay? Well, no more than you were calling me. Yeah, but they've got guns, so you're not going to have any sort of reasonable discussion at that point. And Chase Y has jumped in saying, "Hi, love your authentic energy. How do you balance self-acceptance and holding yourself accountable in difficult times?" It's a good question, Chase. So the first and foremost, I've been empathic most of my life, and I spent most of my life cursed with the need to fit in. So I'm very good at that. And I worked for 13 years on the front line as a nurse, and I became renowned for my legendary skills in talking down difficult people. So I've always been good at that. The main thing that I've had to learn is boundaries of saying no, sometimes saying no. So the more recent lessons that I've had to get have been around putting my own energy first, saying no to some people, refusing to deal with really shit behavior, and really calling it off. So setting very clear boundaries. That's how I do it. The clearer the boundaries that I set, the easier life gets. I'll give people a warning, say, "Don't do that again, please. I appreciate you not doing it." And I've done this with my family. I've got certain family members I just don't even talk to. And I'm in their company. I just don't even talk to them, don't even acknowledge them anymore. Cross the boundary too many times. No, not going to do it. So is that certainty in myself now that there's no more Mr. Nice Guy to the people that don't deserve it. That's how I deal with it. So I'm still my authentic and lovely self to the people that deserve it. And to anyone that doesn't, I have a different sub-personality that doesn't deal with any shit at all. And that has been the more later thing that's come to me in life. And that has been the biggest lesson that I've had to learn. Is absolutely, it's not my job or duty to deal with really shit behavior anymore. No more. So the people that do not respect my boundaries, they get they get a very different me, almost like a sub-personality that has been developed in the latter years of the absolute no-nonsense person that you don't want to be on the receiving end of. So that has been the gift that I've learned. So I hope that answers your question, Chase. So difficult times, yes, plenty of difficult times, but I have a different sub-personality. For anyone that doesn't respect my boundaries, they will see a very different me will turn up to those encounters. So let's have a look. Paul Brady, that's eyes then. Well, Paul, you send your proposal and you'll find out. Planet C64. Thanks, Chase. Excellent question. Hydra. What age do you think people should come to these realizations at? Well, I'll tell you what I'm finding, Hydra, is that there is definitely a generation of more ascended beings entering the planet now. I'm seeing some very deep wisdom in kids. People that look to me, they're kids, they're probably in their early 20s. But I'm seeing some people, it's like, yeah, that's somebody that's lived a lot of lifetimes. That's somebody that's come in with an accelerated awareness. I don't see age traditionally. I see wisdom. Because let's face it, on the planet that I live in the reality that I live in, we're all here from many, many lifetimes. We've all come from different places or planets for different reasons. I know that sounds a little bit out there, because it is. That's just my reality. So age, I don't really see that. I think wisdom is how I judge things. And some people are wise and young because they've lived many lifetimes, and some people are old and stupid. So we grew up in a generation that said respect your elders, and what I realized is that no, I respect people that deserve respect. That is the thing that I should have listened to. So there you go. Chase says, I'm okay at holding other people to an appropriate standard, but I sometimes struggle with even pushing myself to a standard that I know I should be at when I'm feeling low. Well, this is it. We have to teach people. We teach people how to treat us. That is a big thing, Chase. You know, whatever happens, we teach people how to treat us. And I had to end a lot of friendships, shall I say, when I realized it was very one-way traffic. So yeah, it is a lifelong journey on that front. Chris says, oh, are you Arnold Schwarzenegger? Well, thank you for asking, Chris. I wish I had muscles remotely the size of Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe in a previous life. You never know. Paul Brady, so where is your husband today? Well, that's you, isn't it, Paul? From what I gather. Chris says, is he bendy? I think he might be. I think Paul is really, you know, if he's not out, he's definitely in the closet, and he's using this this thread to release. You can tell us, Paul. You can come out. This is a safe space for you, my Jedi friend. If that's the way you're feeling, if that is the stuff, if that is the energy that's being unleashed with you right now, let the world know and free yourself, my Jedi friend. Free yourself from your chains. So I'm getting lots of laugh things coming up at the side. Hydra, I'm turning 21 soon, but already feel behind compared to those around me, especially online. Well, Hydra, let me tell you, at 21, all I was doing was traveling the world and having fun. That is it. Don't try and be too much too soon. Just enjoy life while you've got your youth. That would be my best advice to you. You don't have to be necessarily spiritually awakened just yet, or even to chase it. It's way more important to live your life and to live in the moment and to have fun in the here and now than it is to seek spiritual enlightenment. Because spiritual enlightenment comes when you realize that you're having fun and you're enjoying your life. Seeking spiritual enlightenment, it'll always be somewhere down the line. You'll always be looking for something that isn't there. It's way more important to enjoy the here and now than it is to spend your whole life seeking something that you don't have. You will find it by finding joy in the moment. You will find the enlightenment that you're looking for, my Jedi friend. That would be my tuppence worth anyway. Chase says, oi, lonely, sad trolls. Hope you heal. Hope you'll heal someday. Chase says, come on out, Paul. We are here for you. Exactly. Paul, you can come out. It's all good. We're all friends here. We're all friends. And Chris says, well played, sir. That's how you deal with trolls. And that's exactly what I've said. You know, all trolls are welcome on this thread. You know, I don't mind people handing it out as long as you're able to take it. If you can't take it, my Jedi friends, don't give it. And this live stream will be a lesson in that for anybody that comes at me. You bring it on. Bring it on. This is a bit like going live on YouTube. It's a little bit like that scene from Gladiator when they're in the stadium and they've been teed up. They're all meant to be dying. And Russell Crowe goes, I don't know what's about to come through those gates, but it will be better if we stick together. Hydra says, that was actually very reassuring. Thanks a lot. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Hydra. It really is. You know, too many people can put too much expectation on themselves, too much pressure on themselves, when in actual fact, You know, if I went back to my 20s, I'd be telling myself exactly the same thing. The advice I would give me wouldn't be like, you need to do your spiritual enlightenment, you need to get your boundaries in place. It would be like, go and have fun. One of the best things I did when I turned 20, I went traveling. I just went traveling. I worked in summer camps in America for a few summers. That was one of the best things I did because it took me away from my family. And it was the first time. And that was before mobile phones. Oh, show my age. So I had no contact with my family. I get the odd letter, but I really discovered who I was being in an environment where I wasn't influenced by any of my family being around me. It was great. It was really liberating for me. So I would say definitely do that. Take some time out, go traveling, enjoy yourself, do stuff on your bucket list. Because the problem is that most people spend their whole life thinking, when I retire, I'll do it. And then their health collapses. Like all the trekking, all the mountain climbing, all the jumping out of planes I did, you know, at this age, I'd think twice about doing it now. But when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was absolutely fearless and did all of this stuff. And I'm glad I did. I ticked off my bucket list early so that I know it's like an insurance policy that I can die in peace knowing that I'm not going to regret not doing these things, traveling to the outback, doing a road trip coast to coast on the States, traveling down and living in Australia for a year, doing all sorts of stuff, living in Southeast Asia, working in Southeast Asia, backpacking all over the world. You know, I did it all. So it was like the ultimate insurance policy. I've got some great memories from those days. So let's have a look. So Chris says, so Paul, if you are a giver, then be prepared to be a receiver. I notice Paul is absent from the comments now. Linzarella, I would love to go back to my 20s, best years. I travelled too. Absolutely. Chase says, Hydra, you are doing fine. He is right. Explore, have fun, practice as much independence as you can. Absolutely. Enjoy it while you can. Enjoy your younger years and don't get tied into long-term jobs or stuff like this or start pursuing your career too early. Take some of your youth. I think a gap year myself should be mandatory. People should have to leave the country. They should just have to go and live abroad for a year. They should be made to do it. I think that's a rite of passage for anyone in their late teens, early 20s, myself. So let's see. Hydra, you sound like you've got a lot of worldly experience. Well, I did a lot of backpacking, Hydra. I've probably spent, if I was to combine all the time I've spent out the country, backpacking, working abroad, having fun, exploring different cultures, that would probably be a cumulative of about 6 to 7 years of my life. And I absolutely don't regret any of that traveling. What I used to do, when I was a nurse, I used to work night shifts, and I used to work quite a lot of night shifts back to back, and I used to accumulate as much money as I could. And then when we hit winter here, usually December or January, I used to book a one-way ticket to a random destination. And I used to just backpack until my money ran out, which was usually about 3 months. Sometimes it would go longer. So I traveled to South Africa, to Brazil, to Australia, to Southeast Asia, to America. I've had loads of adventures, and the whole thing was I just keep traveling. I'll just go with the flow until my money ran out. It's one of the best things I ever did. I have met so many people. I had so many great adventures, and I learned so much about myself through doing that as well. It's one of the best things that I ever did, was that kind of stuff. So there you have it. Let's see. Where are we, Chase? Hydra, you're doing fine. Yeah, you've already read that one, haven't I? Linzarella, where is Paul gone? We are holding a coming out party here for you. I think we've traumatized Paul. I think Paul, he loves to be the giver, but he's not so good on the receiving end, is he? Bless him. Bless him. I used to love pulling that over my nursing years when people, because I used to get it all the time. Oh, you're a male nurse. Are you gay? I thought, you know what? I'm not going to justify myself to ignorance anymore. I used to put my hand, say, you're making an offer. And it's just so incredible how people hand that out without thinking twice about it. They get really offended when they're suddenly on the receiving end of that. I frightened a few people. I trolled the trolls. I made them regret asking stupid questions or irrelevant questions, because let's face it, what really difference does it matter whether I'm gay or not? What difference does it make to anyone? I don't really see the relevance there, unless you're making an offer, unless you're looking for love, my Jedi friends. And I can love you without being sexually connected to you. It's all good. Sir YouTube has arrived and said hi. Well, hi, Sir YouTube. Thank you for joining me. Lindsarella, it's more unusual to be straight or a biological woman these days because times have changed. Lol. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. So YouTube, do you like sports? Yes, I do. Love sports. When I was in the States, I actually loved watching a bit of baseball and American football there. Of course, it's not real football because there's no feet involved except for the kickers. Most of it's near a rugby, isn't it? But the football is my main sport over here in the UK. I support Liverpool. Love that stuff. I'm loving the fact that they are doing so well at the moment. So yes, I do love sports quite a lot. I've got Muhammad in the house that says Jeff Bezos. And Muhammad says hi. Well, hello, Jeff. Jeff Muhammad. Muhammad Jeff Bezos. Well, whatever you're into, Muhammad. Lindsarella says you'll never walk alone. Absolutely. They're looking good this season, aren't they? Although it was a bit dodgy at Newcastle. That game against Newcastle was a little bit dodgy. Fair play to Newcastle. And suddenly they pull some 16-year-old that no one's heard of to score the winner. Genius. That's what champions are made of, Lens. You know the score. And Lily will be happy about that. I know she will. Got Chase on. Some people are so envious of other people being their authentic selves. Absolutely, Chase. Well, when you are your authentic self, you don't have to worry about other people's bullshit. You really don't. That just comes with the territory, and that is one of the benefits of getting older in life. Like you're super thick skin when it comes to stuff like that, you know. And not only that, but as we've discussed, they help me with the algorithm here on YouTube, so it's all a win as far as I'm concerned. It's winners. Now, I was going to end this thread about 20 minutes ago, but here we've just gone on. So thank you for all the engagement and the questions, my Jedi friends. This has been unexpected, I have to tell you. But we just keep going and going and going. So Lynn Zarella says, me and Lily are having some friction at the moment, but I still love her, lol. Well, Lily is Lily, Lynn's. She's going to be Lily the way it is. And from the family dynamics that you've described, I think you two are always potentially going to have a bit of friction. But fair play to her. She just has to do what Lily does. And Lily's always going to, well, when she was with me, the head in the sand approach is going to be the favourable thing. If you can avoid it, then don't deal with it. Then that is the way to go. It's probably why she's in Australia. But I love Lily. She's always good fun. I can understand there might be frictions within families. I think every family has to go through it. That is just the way of the world, my Jedi friends. It's the way of the world. And on that bombshell, I do think that we have probably exceeded what I intended to be on for today. So unless there's anything else, my Jedi friends, I will be calling it a day on this particular thread. So I just really want to thank you. It's been a lot of fun today. It really has. Even to Paul and Evie, thank you, my Jedi friends, for jumping on and spicing things up a little bit, because that is where the algorithm goes. The algorithm likes these things. So who am I to argue with the algorithm? And for everybody that has joined on, thank you. Hydra, great stream. I'm glad I dropped in. Well, thank you, Hydra, and thank you for getting involved in it as well. That's what it's all about. That is what it is all about, is bringing Jedis together and holding the space for people to connect. And great to get involved there. Lindsarella says, great chat. Thanks. It's been funny today. Thanks to our Jota. Yeah. Jedis come from all mysterious angles, my Jedi friends, and we never know who's going to show up or what energy they're going to bring to the party. And that is part of life's little special mix. It's very special, the mix that it brings. So to all of you, I just really want to thank you again for all of the engagement and interaction that's happened today. It has been a blast. It really has. And the time has just gone. The time has just gone. It has just vanished. It's just evaporated. So thanks a lot, my Jedi friends. I am going to sign off now. I'm going to wish you all a fantastic day. I shall do another one soon based on the engagement that this one's had. This seems to be a good time to do it. I've had people from all over get involved today. And Planet C64 says best to all. I've got Golden Jandal jumped on. Oh, it's hi Adam, it's me, Jamie. Well, hello, my Jedi friend, my golden Jamie friend. Welcome back. Unfortunately for you, I was just about to sign off because I thought we'd reached the natural end of this thread, but maybe you are going to prove otherwise. Maybe it's a stay of execution. We've got Jamie is back on the line. Chase says, I've never watched Star Wars. What is significant of Jedis? Well, Chase, I mean, if you haven't watched Star Wars, all I can say is go and watch it. Star Wars is great. It's a rite of passage. It is an institution. It talks about energy a lot. The reason I use Star Wars as a sort of theme, as a thread, then is because most people have watched it. But if you haven't, I would definitely, the thing I would say to you is go and watch Star Wars. I think everyone should have to. It's a rite of passage. It's brilliant, brilliant set of films. The newer ones, maybe not quite so good, but certainly the older ones. Oh, look, Paul has jumped back on. Kudos to you, my Jedi friends. Thank you for having the good grace to step back on and say thanks. That was fun. Well, thank you, my Jedi friend. I hope it didn't hit you too hard, the trolling that you got back today. But the fact that you've stayed on to the end says reams about you. So kudos to you. I wish you well. And I've got Golden Jandal back. Don't worry, I gotcha. Why does nobody talk about Aberdeen protests? Well, there's protests all up and down the country at the moment. There's lunacy going on. Jamie, as you know that there's lunacy going on in this country, and it's a very dense energy. I mean, they're turning this into an absolute lunatic asylum, and they're doing it right under our noses. I can barely believe what is going on in the UK at the moment. It is beyond anything that I can really sense. But the one good thing, well, there's a few good things that are going to come out of this, as I've talked about this on another thread, is that people are waking up now. This government have been so atrocious. I mean, they're almost like evil villains that have been installed in our government, just to see whether they can start a revolution, because that's what this feels like to me. You know, using taxpayers' money to subsidize paedophiles to live next to schools. It's just beyond anything. And then arresting kids for having weapons to protect themselves against them. I mean, you can't write the script of this. We have entered the asylum, my Jedi friends. We have definitely entered the asylum. So let's have a look. Jamie is back saying, yeah, I also farted and it sounded like an eagle. Oh no. Well, based on Jamie's last contribution to this thread, whilst I appreciate your comments and helping me with the algorithm, Jamie, I'm going to sign off now, my Jedi friend. I'm going to thank you for joining in your unique, inimitable way. And I'm going to wish all of you that are still watching and all of you that watch this in the future to have an absolutely fantastic one, to stay energized, to stay positive. Jamie's like, no, please. I admire your enthusiasm, Jamie. But I've been streaming now for like an hour and 20 minutes. I don't think anyone's going to watch this. If anyone actually watches this on the replay and gets to this point, then let me know. Please do let me know, because that will show me that at least somebody watched it to its conclusion. I'm not sure anyone will, but you never know, do you? You never know, my Jedi friends. Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. So, and Jamie says, I will understand. I will unsub. Fair play, Jamie. Well, you got to do what you got to do, and nothing can stop you from doing that. If you are on a mission, my friends, let nobody get in your way. Let nobody stop you on your mission. My mission is to entertain. Are you not entertained? But also maybe to bring a bit of energy and light to your life. So there you go. Hopefully we've achieved that goal with this thread. And appreciation to all of you. I've never spent so long trying to actually sign off. I think I threatened this almost half an hour ago, and here I still am, going on and on. So that's all been down to your engagement. So thank you for being so interactive on this thread. I do appreciate it. It's always good, friendly fun to have these little lives, and I never know where they're going. This one has been no exception to that rule. So, my Jedi friends, you all stay energized, stay positive, stay subscribed, and you will get more of the same of these little random lives that pop up into your stream every now and again, which you will always be welcome to join into. So take care, my Jedi friends. I shall catch you all soon.